this week it's Q2, week 5, and today is Thursday. On today's, there were a few new things on here, and I'll explain it when we get to it. So you will definitely have to be writing stuff down today. Number 1, 20 minus 6n equals a negative 2 times the quantity n plus 6. So draw my line, and then anytime there's a number right next to the parentheses, that means it's the what? Distributive property, and I need to do that first. So I take a negative 2 times n is a negative 2n. Negative 2 times a positive 6 is what? Yep, negative 12. And then I rewrite everything else on the left-hand side. I always tell you I like my n's, or whatever your variable is, on the left side of the equal sign. So I'm going to move this one across that magical line, so I'm going to add 2n to both sides. This cancels these out, and a negative 6 and a positive 2 makes a negative 4n. On the same line, I'm going to move my 20. If it's positive, now it needs to be a negative 20, negative 20. So a negative 12 and a negative 20 makes a negative 32. Now I want to get n by itself. So the last step to get it by itself is I'm going to box in that n so it doesn't move. And a number next to a letter is always multiplication, so we do the opposite, which would be division. So n equals what? 8. Is it going to be negative or positive? Positive. Because a negative divided by negative is positive. Number 2. Joe is training for a race in 30 days. He needs to run a total of 135 miles. How many miles will Joe need to run each day to be ready for the race? So it would be miles. We can set it up as a rate per day, and he needs to run 135 miles in 30 days, so that's just division. So I'm going to write 135 divided by 30. It would be 4.5 after I do my division. So you would have 4.5 miles per day. You must have the label with it. If you did not, please add it. Number 3, 14 is greater than or equal to negative 2 times the quantity, negative 2z plus 3. Draw my magical line. I have my distributive property. So I have a positive 4z, and then a negative 6, because a negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4. A negative 2 times a positive 3 is a negative 6. I know I like my z or my variable on the left, but I'll just leave it here for now, and I'll move my 6 by adding 6 to both sides. 14 plus 6 is 20, greater than or equal to 4z. This is like multiplying, so I need to divide by 4. So 5 is greater than or equal to z. Then rewrite it. Z is less than or equal to 5. That would be my final answer. Write an inequality that represents the graph below. It is a filled-in circle at the 4, and it's going to the left, so it's going to be less than. So x is less than or equal to, because it's filled in, 4. Number 5. The heavyweight class in high school wrestling is from no less than 195 pounds and a maximum of 285 pounds. Write 2 inequalities to represent this range. Okay, so it cannot be any less than 195. So x is going to have to be greater than or equal to 195, and it cannot be any greater than The most it can be is 285. So x is going to be less than or equal to 285. Now, in order to write this with one variable, you would say 195 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to 285. This is how you want to write the inequality. Number 6 is asking about the unit rate. A unit rate we write as, it's always price per, and then this is by going by ounces, so it's price per ounce. So the first jar is a 16 ounce, oops, I don't put ounce first, I just said price first. It's $3.30 for 16 ounces. So I do $3.30 divided by 16, and I get, after I do all my math, 0.206, and you need to round it to the nearest cent. So it'd be 0.21. That's cost per ounce. Then I do the next jar, which would be $8.60 for 64 ounces. If you are not starting by writing the fraction or the rate or the ratio, you need to put it in because it will be counted wrong. Don't just skip to the division part. Write it as the fraction first. So then I have $8.60 divided by 64. And once I do that, I get 0.13. So that jar is 13 cents per ounce. And it asks which one's the best unit rate. Well, 13 cents is cheaper than 21 cents, so it's the second jar. Number 7, you guys all need to write something down on your paper. You're going to write a proportional relationship is a straight line. Okay, so far, is this a straight line? Okay, but there's a second part that, bless you, goes through the origin. And the origin is 0, 0. Does this line go through 0, 0? So it is not proportional. Okay, so it's not proportional. Number 8 asks which table represents a constant increase of x and y. Okay, so if I go from x to y, I'm adding 1 here. 3 plus 1 is 4. 5 plus 1 is 6. 7 plus 1 is 8. So I'm adding 1 each time to get to my y. X plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 2 would be 4, so that doesn't work. But 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So is this a constant increase? No. So the answer is the first one. And you, on your paper, you have to write a rule. So the rule is x plus 1 equals y. And that's our constant. Go ahead and take pictures and submit it, please.